All right. Welcome everyone to the debut meeting of
Hi, Jerry.
311 S5.
I'm on the webinar.
Oh, there's Jerry there. Hey, Jerry.
How you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. All right. So this is our debut meeting of Harmony 311 S5. Today is April 8th, 2017. My
And
birthday
it's a special
and the day that Renee started her venture into the online marketing world. So let me introduce the starting five. We have Darren Johnson from out in Southern California. Say hey, Darren.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We have Dal Sahota, also known as Bamboo, all the way from Perth, Western Australia. Say hello.
That's
there.
Right. Hi, everyone. How are you?
And we have Renee Sullivan. I call her Sensei from Auburn, Massachusetts. Say hello, Renee.
Hello, everyone.
And then we have Christian Caspers. He is our Zoom master from North Carolina. Say hello there, Christian. And then myself, Jay Dyson from Tennessee. We welcome everyone to our webinar. First off, what is 311, Harmony 311 S5 all about? When we got together, the thing that we wanted to do and we wanted to be is a community of people that collaborate together in our businesses, share ideas, be a source of support for other people that are in the online marketing industry, provide training and education. It doesn't matter what business opportunity you're involved in. It does not matter what other applications or accessories you may be using. This is a community for people of all levels, whether you're a newbie, whether you've been into online marketing for any length of time. It's a community that people can associate themselves with just for camaraderie, if that's what you require or what you're looking for. We've discovered through our relationship with one another that to be a part of a community is so very important. I've even given it a label, and I shared this with Dahl last night, affirmative energy, okay? Affirmative energy, because we all like to be a part of something, and that's what this is about, being a part of something. We want to change the way things are done in the online marketing business. A lot of times, and we've all been here, a lot of times we get involved in business opportunities and there's no one there to talk to, no one there to provide support for us to answer questions, things like that. And we want to be that source for people. Again, it doesn't matter what you're involved in. This is just an open community. Now, what we are not is another business opportunity. We're a collaborative effort put together by us five. And we call ourselves S5. And we just desire to change the way business is done on the internet, because so many people are left alone to figure it out on their own. Each one of us has that as a part of our story, where we've gotten into business opportunities before. And it was all about the person making their commission. But when it came time to provide that support, then we were pretty much left on our own. So we want to change the way that's done. We are committed to serving. That's what we're committed to serving our fellow online marketers. On the screen there, you see the front page of our blog, the Harmony 311/S5 blog. And we are S5. We're here to serve. That's it. That's it. We've all traveled the same path. All of our stories are the same. Just our stories have taken place at different points along the way, but it's all the same for each one of us. The ups, the downs, the trials, the tribulations, the challenges that we've gone through. You know, when we started our first meeting, it was back on March 11th of this year. That's where the 311 comes from in the name Harmony 311. When we first got started, we shared our stories, and as we listened to each person's story, I know for me, it was like, you're talking about me because I've gone through the same thing, been through all of that deep water and swimming out of it and starting over again in a lot of cases. Each one of us have a story to tell. So right now, let's share, every one of us, let's share our story, and we'll take it from there. Renee, would you go first?
Absolutely. And Jay, that what you described is exactly what we are. You know, this is exactly what I had envisioned us, you know, this Harmony 311 S5 to be about, is being a community of us just having a camaraderie, a community to bring together. But anyways, this happens to be my 3-year anniversary of when I actually got started online. I got started April 8th, 2014, but backtrack like 18 years ago was when I was actually introduced to the idea of home-based business. You know, my son was about 3.5 or 4, and my daughter was a newborn baby. And I just liked the idea of, you know, I was working full time as a speech pathologist at the time. And what I wanted more than anything else was to, you know, be my own business owner, stay home with my kids, and just earn an income from home. Well, I tried various things, and, you know, they just didn't seem to work out either. I had no clue. My sponsor had no clue. The company went down. It just wasn't the right fit. But, you know, about 7 years ago, I did finally have a, you know, somewhat successful business. I ended up having some health and, you know, personal challenges, got into a company that was a health and wellness company, a direct sales, completely offline, you know, but my first step basically was getting myself back to health, and then grew a business based on that. And, you know, and the reason why that particular business was successful is, first of all, I had my own testimonial. I was a walking testimonial for using the products that I used to get myself back on track and have a transformation. But also, luckily, I was very fortunate to have a mentor in that business, because when I was ready to actually start a business, that person took me through step by step, you know, here's what we do to start earning money and that kind of thing. And I was successful. However, that success was somewhat short-lived, mostly because I felt myself wanting to do more things on the internet, and this particular company wasn't very internet friendly. So I basically searched, you know, online to try to find, you know, something that I could do online, and, you know, followed some people that I felt were successful. And, you know, of course, 3 years ago of this date, you know, I followed a strategy, and I've had my ups and downs, but I've had a share of success as well. You know, last year, I was able to, you know, by following a very calculated strategy, I was working full-time, and I was actually able to quit my full-time job and replace that income full-time online. Then had some bumps in the road, and ended up, you know, this past fall going back to work part-time. Now I'm very, very 100% solid, convinced that what I'm doing is the right thing for me. You know, I've had to find some things that resonated. I've made some mistakes along the way, you know, jumped around, joined things that just didn't seem to work. And now have a plan, have a system, and love the fact that I have a community of, you know, these wonderful people here, and other people who've, you know, joined along, who are on here, who aren't necessarily part of, you know, the original S5, but I'm very happy to have a sense of community to do what it is I do and show others what we do. So, basically, I like the idea of what we're doing, and I want to do more of that and encourage others to do the same as well.
Well, thanks for that, Renee. Yeah, it's true. A lot of us, probably 100% of us, or very close to it, we all started with zero in this business, and we worked ourselves up, to where we are right now. And it's been an adventure. It really has. Okay, Bamboo, share your story with us, all the way from Perth, Australia.
Okay. How about a mute? Okay, there we go. Right, so hi everyone, I'm Dal. And yeah, my story is basically, where do I start? So I emigrated to Australia 11 years ago, and I had a really successful career in the UK as a teacher trainer. And when I came to Perth, because it's the wild, wild west over here, so it's very different, and I couldn't get a job that was the same as what I had in the UK. I was very successful in the UK, and I came over here for love, and it took some sacrifices and stuff, and just had to have a change of career basically. And I started working within administration type of work, and complete change of career, because I went into mining. Like, you'd never believe I'd be in mining, but it was toxic. That's all I'll say to you, like a really toxic environment. And I did that for seven years in that company, and then eventually they made me redundant. So ever since then, in 2013, I have been in temporary roles, contract roles. I found myself a lot of the time out of work, because you get a contract for like 8 weeks or 3 months or whatever, and sometimes you get a contract for 4 weeks, and then they'll extend it week by week, and you're just hanging on, like waiting around to see what's going to happen. So what made me come into wanting to have my own business online was I found myself in a situation where personally I had a personal tragedy in my life, and I was completely thrown off course. And also my job situation was just all over the place. And I was out of work for 3 months, and that really, I was overweight, I was depressed, I was really unhappy. And one of my best friends actually said to me, Dal, you should have your own business. And I thought to my mentality was so different to how it is now, because I thought I'm not good enough to have an online business. I know it sounds crazy, but I honestly thought I'm not good enough. And because I thought the only people that have an online business are successful people, like people that are really vibrant and happy. And so my friend kind of planted the seed in my mind, and I just Googled online businesses. And then I was presented with lots of articles about affiliate marketing, network marketing, online marketing. And I just sort of read them, and I thought, wow, there's a whole world out there. There's a whole, people are actually doing this for real. Like people are making money from this. And I kind of, just sort of was looking for freedom, I guess. And that's, I guess all of us here at the moment are, that's what's brought us here together. And I just wanted a way to, and the thing is, right, I love people, but I actually started hating people. The reason why is because the jobs, when you're in a job, it really restricts you as a person. This is what I find. I found that I'm jumping all over the place, and I'm sorry, but in December 2016, I was a very different person. If you ask any of S5, like for anyone that's on here that doesn't know me, I was really on a downward spiral. And doing this online marketing journey and committing myself to it has completely transformed my mindset, my life, everything, my outlook. Like, I got up at 2 o'clock this morning, and it's not because I'm crazy, it's just because I'm driven, and it's because I've got a passion for once in my life. And I never thought I had a passion, And anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that I actually started with online marketing 2 years ago, but I was all over the place because it was like rev shares and network marketing and MLMs and what do I do? And then I kind of watched people. I watched Renee like a stalker. Renee, yeah, I hope you don't mind. I know she doesn't. She's my sister now. So no, I watched people, I watched them for years and I was afraid. I was afraid. I was one of those people. I watched videos. I didn't want to reach out to anyone. And then there's a guy called Rob Fraser, if some of you might know him, but he was like my sponsor in a few things, and he kind of stuck out to me because I read his blog posts, and what I want to say is, like, you want to do as much as you can, videos, blogs, Facebook, social media, and I read his blog posts, and it took me a year to reach out to him, and eventually I did. And he sort of said, do this, do that. And at the end of last year, I was at rock bottom, and I thought to myself, I saw Renee's success, I saw Rob's success, and I just thought, if I really want to change my life, then I've got to do what these guys are doing, basically. I've got to commit myself, I've got to take action. And I just Skyped with Rob, and I was afraid, by the way, just so you all know, to make videos. I was so afraid. And Rob, I went on Skype with him and I didn't put my video on, and he said, I can't see you. Where are you? And I was like, I've got nowhere to put my phone. I was like, trying to be, he was like, no, you put your video on now. And he kind of just said to me, if you want to be successful, Dal, you got to do videos. And it kind of pushed me. And I want to sort of give a shout out to Renee, because we did this 100-day video challenge, and Renee, you started it, and I knew, and you don't know this, Renee, but I knew that if I committed myself to doing this challenge, I knew that Renee was kind of going to keep an eye on me, even though we never had this conversation. But I knew subconsciously, I thought, if I put it out there, she's going to know. She's a day ahead, and she's going to kind of know that I've committed. So she's kept me going, and we've never spoken about this. And so, just so you know, and it was that's what gave me the drive. And what I want to say is, I'm sorry to take up all this time, but my mindset has transformed so massively that you wouldn't believe. If you met me in December, you would have just walked away and gone like, oh my God, I want to talk to that girl. But now I'm a different person. The reason why is because I embarked on this challenge, this 100-day video challenge. And what that did to me, it wasn't just about my business, but it's been like a personal growth. It's been like a personal journey for me. And it's actually helped me like myself, because for many years I didn't like who I was because of my upbringing. And I've had so many people reach out to me every day, and it's taught me that I'm actually a good person. I'm not a bad person. And I just want to put that out there to say to you all that, there's lots of reasons why you want to look for making money online, but it's not all about money. It's also, a lot of it is about your soul and who you are. And maybe that's a bit deep for some people, but when you've been through things in your life, I think, you just get to a point where you lose yourself, you lose who you are, and you don't know who you are. You don't know what your purpose is. You don't know what your journey is. And I haven't had kids. I'm 39. I always go, hey everyone, I'm 39, because I just like to promote that. But I'm 39, I'm single, I've got no kids, and I felt that what is my purpose in life? I've got no partner, no nothing, and I feel for the first time ever that this is my purpose. And my purpose is, I really honestly want to help other people who have hit rock bottom like me several times, because trust me, I have. You get to the point where you've hit rock bottom and you say, why am I back here again? Seriously, what did I do? What corner did I turn to get back to this place? So I just want to say that, if I can do this, and I left home when I was 16, and I've been, on my own ever since. I've lost things, people, whatever. And, if I can do it, you can all do it. And that's basically my story. So there you go. That's all.
Well, thanks for that, Bamboo. You know, you said several things, but two things stuck out with me, and I wrote them down. Driven to change. You know, this does drive you to change who you are, and accountability. You know, I feel accountable to you guys. You know, and that's something that we've never spoken about. It's just I've internalized that. You know, because I know that Renee's watching, I know Darren's watching, I know Bamboo's watching, I know Christian's watching what I do, you know, and so that drives us to change, and it also brings about accountability to us also. Darren, your story.
Hey everyone, my name is Darren Johnson, and I got interested in working online about 4 years ago. And what happened was I was at an end of the year staff meeting. Now, I work in education. I'm a school social worker. And what I do is I provide mental health counseling for emotionally troubled teens. Well, I was told at this meeting that 50% of us weren't going to be asked to return to our positions. And so what that meant for me was I had to decide over the summer whether or not I was going to stick it out and, you know, hope that I was going to be one of the ones asked to return or get another job. Now, you know, I have family obligations, I have a home, I have a family to support. So the idea of losing my job and not having anything was just terrifying. And I felt so powerless because I realized for the first time in my life how very dependent I was on that job, on any job, you know, and I had spent, you know, most of my life believing that if I went to school and I got an education and I went back and got, in, you know, a deeper secondary education and I got all these degrees that I would be safe, I would be secure, I would be so marketable that I could just easily get a job. But the reality of that is that that's a false sense of security. And if you don't control your own economy, and if you don't figure out a way to make money for yourself, you really do put yourself at the risk of the people who employ you. And when they do things like offer you a reduction in force letter, you know, it's really humbling, and it really helps you to recognize that, you know, it's if you don't create for yourself, you're at the mercy of someone else who could decide at any point in time that they don't want to fund your position or they don't want to fund your job. And then, you know, what are you left with? You're left out there scrambling, stressed out of your mind, trying to figure out what to do about it. Well, so that summer, I was driven like never before to go figure out a way to create my own way of making money. And I came across a friend of mine who was feeling pretty much the same way, and her husband was involved in the travel business. And I remember her telling me, Darren, you got to come meet my husband. I think he's got exactly what you're looking for. So I met with him at a coffee house, and he explained to me all the wonderful things about his travel business. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, explain the compensation plan and the opportunities to advance in you know, within the business, and it all sounded great, you know. And he laid out all the figures and all the money and all the residual income and all that stuff. But then I got to thinking about it. As great as his presentation was, and as excited as I was at the idea of having my own business, I said to myself, he is going to a coffee house to recruit me, and he's spending about, I don't know, an hour and a half of his time to sell me on a business. And if I say no, then he's basically wasted all of that time. So it got me to thinking, and I thought, well, there has to be a way to take that same model, but maybe automate it or scale it up to a point where I could actually continue to do that on a massive level, as opposed to just a one-on-one kind of interaction. And so what ended up happening was I did some research on the internet, and I came across, you know, all the programs and all the opportunities, and it was kind of overwhelming for me. I felt like, man, you know, where do I start? Where do I begin? You know, and then everybody was throwing out this language that I'd never heard about. I don't know what an email autoresponder is. I don't know what a capture page is. I don't know anything. I'm just barely learning the internet as a whole. This social media, what is that? How do you work that? Then there's all these different social media platforms. You got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just it just all seems so overwhelming. So anyway, I came across a few mentors and I followed them, but then I got discouraged because what I noticed was once I started to follow them and once I thought about joining in their opportunity, then they would jump to another opportunity. And so that kind of frustrated me because I felt like, how am I ever going to learn how to be an internet marketer or to have my own business on the internet if the people I'm following are just hop, skipping, and jumping from program to program? Because it constantly resets my learning curve. So then finally, I came across a mentor who had a plan that made a lot of sense to me. And it totally motivated me because it showed me that it was something that I could control and do for myself. And if I didn't step to the plate and I didn't, do the things that were necessary to be successful, then it's on me. It's my fault for not taking action, basically. And so what I decided to do was I implemented his plan and I started to feel better about myself. And it made me feel like I could step out of my comfort zone and actually do things that I never thought I would do. Much like Dow, video scared me. Just, public speaking, being in the spotlight, having people listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth terrified me. But what I've learned on my journey is because I have such a passion for making money online and showing other people how to do the things and not fall into pitfalls that I fell into and make the mistakes that I made, I'm actually finding that I'm able to do those things that I never thought I would do, like this webinar, when I'm on my job, and I'm forced to make a presentation. That used to terrify me, but now I feel a little bit of confidence. I feel a little bit of swagger because I feel like, who I am is okay. And that's one of the byproducts of working on the internet is you find your strength. You find things in you that you didn't really even know that you had. It just kind of gets stirred up in there. And once it comes out, you're like a better person for it. So, without taking up too much more of my time, that was kind of my motivation behind going online. I wanted to provide for my family. I wanted to make sure I was in control of my own finances, and I wanted to call my own shots, basically, and along the way, I've met some wonderful people and we formed S5, and, that's just another awesome byproduct of this whole journey. So, the one thing that I would leave you with, though, in my story is you have to be consistent, even when it seems thankless, even when you feel like no one's paying attention to you, just keep doing what you're doing. If you're doing the right things and you're doing them over and over and over again, then what ends up happening is you're able to actually, people will actually follow you. And one day, just all of a sudden, out of the blue, people will just kind of comment on the things that you're doing and you'll start to get a following and people will start to, want to know what your business is. And, that's awesome when that happens. So that's it for my story, though.
Thanks, Darren. You talked about, and I called it the standard reality. We're taught, go to school, get a job. That's what we're taught. And then we fall into that employee mindset. Hey, I need this job. What happens if I lose my job? Where do I go? So what we're doing and what we're experiencing comes down to one thing: mindset change is what we've gone through. Yeah. We're seeing things a lot different than what we saw, like in Renee's case, 4 years ago, Renee, you weren't.
3 years ago is when I started.
Well, I'm going back 4 years before the 3 years, that year before you decided that you would, jump into this business, that mindset you had that year prior to when you first jumped into the business is totally different now. Yeah, it's totally different. Christian, your story.
Hey, so one of the things I love about the group that we formed is that we all have different stories, and I look forward to sharing all that because everyone who jumps on board and takes a look at what we're doing and joins us, they get different points of view and people can relate to what we're doing, where we're coming from. and so if we can do what we're doing, then other people can do it too. So I just find that when I was doing this by myself before we formed S5, I spoke to Renee a lot because we clicked, but you pretty much are on your own until you do form a partnership, collaborate, and that's kind of what we've done here. So that's just something I wanted to share. But as far as my story, I mean, I've been looking for a business 25 plus years. Well, okay, 30 plus years. But I've always had a job to go along with that. I just, I never quit a job to do a business full time. But I've done traditional network marketing. I could mention many companies, but let's just say I've built business offline, traditional MLM. I've had a team of 5, 6, 7, 8 people. And what I find from doing that, and I'll fast forward in a minute, but people, you need to go through a lot of people before you find people who really are serious about building a business, because not everyone has a business or entrepreneurial mindset. Okay. So what I mean by that is that there is only a certain percentage of people who will do a business. All right. The rest of the folks are perfectly happy with doing a job. Nothing wrong with a job, but it doesn't really bring you to the point of financial freedom, and I always wanted that. So 25, 30 years ago, I kept looking for business. I tried half a dozen, several, 8 different things. And then I stopped for a while, fast forward to today. And I was doing some other things about 10 months ago and made some pretty big mistakes. But that's one of the things I always think about Thomas Edison, how many times did he fail, right? So I don't believe I'm a Thomas Edison, but I do know that I failed many times. So I just keep doing it because I know there's going to be success somewhere along the line. But about 10 months ago, I joined a business online. I thought I was on the right track because I didn't know what I was doing online. I took it offline. I brought it online. And I said, I need to do it online because, I'm a computer programmer by day, and it's just a natural environment for me to go online and do stuff online. Plus, you work all day long, and the last thing I want to do is, have a 9-to-5 job after my 9-to-5, So I was looking for something online, but I got on board with a company and a leadership who pretty much pushed network Facebook marketing. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can meet dozens of people every day and add them to your friends list, and you can give them your business opportunity, and you can get people to sign up. And that's what I did. And if you guys watch my videos, I tell this story is that, I friended over 800 people on my friends list in 3 months. And out of that, 90 people went to see my business. And out of that, 3 people signed up. And from those 3 people, 1 more person came on board with someone on my team. That took 3 months. And I worked it every single day. I worked it hard. I was willing to do that. All right. But on the 4th month, I had 0 people. They all just left. Okay. I was writing them and everything before they left. I said, can I help you? Whatever. So they all left. And a month before that, the 3rd month, I was already looking for a better way to do it. So what I found was I need to drive people to my business opportunity. I need to drive a lot more people to my opportunity than what I was doing manually by hand. And it goes back to what I did 30 years ago. All right. You can only shake so many hands, talk to so many people, drag so many people to a meeting. Like Darren, I was relating to Darren a lot. What he had gone through, he saw that it took an hour and a half to do that presentation for 1 person. All right. You only have so many hours in a day. And when you have a full-time job, it takes a long time to do that. If you can do that, and if you'll make it, there's only a certain percent of people who even put the work in who will make it. Okay. So that's what I found. I need to drive a lot of people. And I met Rob Fraser online through videos like a lot of people did. And I started doing it the way he does it. Along the way, I joined a number of businesses. And so today I created a business presentation that includes 4 separate businesses. That's my path, what I went down based on my experience. And I give that presentation to folks because each business is tweaked a little bit differently and can relate to different people. So that's the path I've gone down on. And what I love about S5 is we're all doing things a little bit differently. We don't have to be doing the same business. We're just here to talk about the concepts of how to build a business. All right. So, come on board with us and check it out. That's where I'm at.
One thing, Christian, and we talked about this before, it doesn't matter what the business is. Marketing is marketing. Promotion is promotion. Putting out videos and emailing your people. It's all the same regardless of what business you're in. We have those basics. You said something about, Christian, you said something about people being happy with their job. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. S5 is about meeting people where they are right now. Okay. We all got to a point where we said enough is enough. I've got to change some things around. That old hockey line in a hockey game, change it up. And that's where we got to. We needed to change it up. My story, I go back into the 90s with wanting my own business, the traditional MLM. I don't know if you guys remember a company called Primerica. It was a company that sold term life insurance. And it was the same thing. Meetings on, every Thursday, there was a meeting. You're bringing people to a meeting, that 3-foot rule thing. Anybody that you run into, man, they're a potential customer, And I remember that people it was almost like a mandate in some respects. You're not doing your business right. You're not doing your business right. You need to do this. You need to talk to people. And you talk about being out of a comfort zone. I felt like a used car salesman in a lot of respects, not realizing not everybody wants to hear what I have to say. Not everybody wants to buy what it is I'm trying to sell. So I was in and out of different business opportunities during the 90s, got so frustrated that I spent years away from it because I did not see how viable it was. I just couldn't see anything positive about being in business in that respect back in the 90s. And then something happened to me along the way. Worked for a company, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of ServiceMaster. I worked for them for years, and they outsourced for the first time in 2009. And it was one of those things, am I going to have a job? When they do this outsourcing, will I have a job? Well, they kept me, and the company that we outsourced to, I had to start all over from the beginning again. I had to fight for my salary because they wanted to pay me less than what I was making at ServiceMaster, so I had to fight for that. Had to fight for my paid time off, my vacation that I had accrued and all of that. So that was in 2009. In 2012, got outsourced again to another company, which was even a worse adventure than it was the first outsourcing. Had to do the fighting again, for salary, things like that. Third outsourcing was in 2012. It's like, come on, really? And then in 2016, I had just come back from Florida. I'd been down to Florida. And when I got back, that was Martin Luther King's holiday weekend. That Tuesday when I got back, I never will forget it, January 19th, 2016, coming back in from lunch, HR met me at the door, took me into an office and said, we're restructuring the company and we're going to have to let you go. I had been sitting in that seat for, at that time, 11 years. And that was devastating. And it was, what am I going to do? Because we rely on our 9-to-5 job so much, and we get so used to it, and we don't think about, what if I lost my job, what would I do? And you look at your finances and say to yourself, hey man, that's only going to take me so far. I've got to get out and find another job. luckily for me, I knew a guy that I had worked with years before, and he and I, we kept in contact with one another, and I called him that night, and that was on a Tuesday, and Thursday they hired me into the company that I work for right now. Not everyone has that kind of advantage. For a lot of people, they lose their job, and it's a long, lonely walk to the next job, if they can find one. And then if they do find one, it's like what Dal is going through right now, contract work. And they can get rid of you anytime they want to. I got tired of being at the whim of corporations. That's what I got tired of. And so in February 6th, 2016, which is my oldest son's birthday, that's when I decided I'm getting back into the online marketing business. So I went out on the internet. I found Frank Calabro Jr. I came in under him. I met Rob through Frank. And from there, man, it's been one heck of a ride. And then I met Dal back in January, I believe it was. And one day Renee started talking about her vision, putting together a group of people like S5. That was so exciting to hear that, because Dal brought that to me, and she says, hey, I just talked to Renee, and here's what she wants to do. And it's like the excitement just flowed right in. It's like, great, being a part of a group with people that are like-minded, have the same stories to tell, want to walk the same path at the same time as you. That was really exciting. And that first meeting, and I know I speak for everyone when I say this, that first meeting, we connected as if we had known each other all of our lives. It's like we had grown up together in the same town, went to the same school, had known each other for all those years. And I'm very, very grateful for Renee having that vision and then sharing that vision with us four to form S5. It's been great, and it's only going to get greater. So again, what are we about? What is S5 about? 5 people that have gone through all of the things that we've gone through individually, and then come together and say, you know what? We can be a beacon for other people out there, regardless of what stage they're in, whether they're beginners, whether they've been in network marketing for some time. Just be a place where people can come and hang their hat, if you will, and know that, hey, everything is okay. I have a group of people I can bounce things off of. We can share our successes, share our failures. Hey, I tried this and it didn't work. It's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've been there. I've done that. I got the scars in the t-shirt to prove it. That's what we're about. Standing together in this, standing together. There are so many people out there that they jump into this industry and they have no clue what they're getting involved in. They've heard the hype and they've bought into the hype. I was talking to a guy several weeks ago, and he said, you know what? I've been looking at all of these different business opportunities out there, and they all look the same. I said, yeah, they are. An auto manufacturer is an auto manufacturer, but what makes them unique from other auto manufacturers? It doesn't matter what business you're in. It matters about who you are in that business. What are you bringing to that business? That's what makes your business unique, is you. The things that you do in your business. Rob taught us something a long time ago, was take action, take action, take action. We hear that all the time. And it's so fun taking action, isn't it, Christian? This is really fun, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I sit at work and I think about, what am I going to do when I get home from work in my business today? And I start writing things down. And you mentioned that the other day, Renee. Share that about when you're on the job and the things that you do to keep you in tune and in touch with your business?
Well, yeah, some of the things, again, I think people at work, if they actually paid attention, they'll probably think I'm nuts, because I'm constantly writing down, different sales funnels that I want to do. And I'm writing down, like affirmations. I'm writing down visions that I have. And even, like I said, when we first met, I was writing down on paper, I would love to have a community of people. I mean, that's where this idea came from. I'm constantly thinking of that kind of thing. Every single day when I'm at work, I'm thinking, where am I going to get more exposure? How am I going to help more people? That's constantly running through my mind every single day. How many more people can I mentor, and show, how to be successful? So you're right.
Yeah, it's definitely a mindset change for sure. Reading books. I'm sitting at work a lot and I put on my headsets and I don't stream across the network, because, those guys are watching, the security guys are watching. I take this little guy right here, my phone, and I plug my headsets in and I start listening to, Renee's videos and Darren's videos, Christian. I'm listening to S5 videos. What are they doing out there? And then audios, listening to audios, things along that line, just to keep my head in the game, to help me keep my head in the game. And that is so very important, that mindset, educating yourself constantly. I think Christian mentioned that, earlier. It's like, hey, that helps me to stay inspired when I'm out there learning all this stuff that I know that I'm going to need at some point in time. I was telling Dahl before, so I'm going to redo all of my emails in my email series. And she says, why are you going to do that? Because I've learned more. And I want to take what I've learned and put into my email series that I'm sending out to my list, because I've grown.
Yep.
Jamie and Jerry, what do you guys have on your minds? What do you think?
Well, I can tell you a little about myself here, if you guys would like to hear that.
Oh, sure.
Well, I kind of consider myself an entrepreneur since my high school days, because I delivered the LA Times on a bicycle. I got up at 4 a.m. every morning, 7 days a week, rain or shine, pedaled out to nearly 200 customers. I used that money during high school to buy my own clothes. So, but all but my senior year, then I got involved in photography. I've had a career in photography on and off for 54 years now. So right after I got out of high school, I went down to a teenage nightclub in Redondo Beach, California, and they had a photographer taking pictures of the talent that was there. And I said, gee, this guy's missing all the really great shots. So I went in and I made the guy an offer they couldn't hardly refuse. Just let me in here. I'll take some photos. I'll make some prints. We'll put them up on the wall over there. If you guys like them, let me in anytime I want to. Well, I just blew their socks off. They loved everything I did. And that started the ball rolling. And I started photographing many famous rock musicians in the early 60s. And then one day, the guy who owned the club, he's dead now, but him and another guy you may have all heard of, his name is Bob Eubanks. They went together and they put their money together to hire the Beatles to come and play at the Hollywood Bowl. So one night at one of the club functions I was at, he says, I'd like you to, guy's name was Reb Foster, that was his radio name. And he said, I'd like you to photograph the Beatles for me, and I'll get you a pass to get in. Well, I still have that press pass to get into the press conference. So they had a press conference at Bob Eubanks' nightclub out in the San Fernando Valley, North Hollywood area. I was there 3 feet sitting in front of the Beatles taking my photos. We were there, well, the radio station that Bob Eubanks and Reb Foster worked at were promoting the Beatles and a lot of other English groups that happened in the early 60s. And so they loved my photos of the Beatles, and they said, we want you to be our staff photographer for, this was LA's first rock and roll newspaper. So I got to get up close and personal with the Rolling Stones. We were on a first name basis for a while. I photographed Sonny and Cher. Sonny was a great guy. He was a good friend of mine. He invited me one of the recording sessions. I had a blast. I really did. I met, one of the big rockers that just passed away, Chuck Berry. I met him at a show in Santa Monica where they had the biggest collection of rock stars ever. So called the Tammy Show. If you look it up, you'll find it. But anyway, I took pictures backstage there. And so I did all this until Uncle Sam was breathing down my neck and wanted to draft me. This is in the era of Vietnam. So I joined the Air Force, changed careers, went into electronics. I figured, well, they'll either, if I join the Air Force into photography, they'll do one of two things. I'll be doing somebody's darkroom work, or I will be flying in a plane taking combat photos. And I says, well, I think I'm just going to go into electronics. And they sent me to a radar site here, to make it short, in the Mojave Desert, near a place called Boron in California. It's about 30 miles northeast of Edwards Air Force Base. So after I got out of the Air Force, I got a job at TRW Systems, working on spacecraft hardware, cutting edge technology at the time. And I got involved in several highly classified electronics programs, otherwise known in the black world, as some people call it these days, or special access projects. And got laid off there, went to work at Hughes Aircraft, worked on the very first F-14 radar system ever built. I got solved a lot of problems in the early production of them. And I came back to work at TRW, and about a year later, I found out about a job that would take me to Australia, to the outback of Australia, to live and work for 16 months on another classified project. Well, I actually fell in love with the place. I loved the place so much. I would always wanted to go back, and for 40 years, I've had this dream of going back there. So about 3 years ago, I got started doing some other marketing things, and I'm like Renee here. I've had a few health problems that I'm working at it fairly successful right now. I'm on a program to lose weight and get some exercise. I've actually lost 72 pounds to this day now.
No, good for you, Jerry.
And the 63 3/4 inches of me are no more that I'm carrying around. And the biggest problem is I had problems with my feet here. That's why I gained weight, because it was hard to walk. It hurts to walk, still does. So in about 10 days, I'm going to have surgery on one of my feet here anyway. They only do one at a time. So
what got you involved in online marketing, Jerry?
Well, I've been involved with gold, with carrot bars. I've been involved with another company Renee was with, Traffic Monsoon.
Yeah.
And I was also in a crowdfunding thing, which one of the credit card processors took all the money and ran, so nobody had nothing to pay us. That was going to be my ticket to go move back to Australia. So I figure, I'm getting everything in place that I need to do here. I'm doing several programs that some of us here are in, Pure Profit Pro. I got MLM leads. I'm in the least ad space now. I have gold. I have another program that's called The Good Life. So between all of these, when things get moving here for me, things slow down a bit, I expect things to turn around drastically when I have the actual time and energy to put to it. I'm getting more energetic every day now. I've had more energy this past week than I've had in years.
Well, it is life changing, and it changes your attitude about things. What about you, Jamie? What's your story?
Oh, you can unmute me. Cool. Well, this guy at work, he was like constantly pestering me to join this business, and I all gave in. I'm just kidding. That guy's actually Christian. Christian and I work together at a mattress company. So we're both software developers, and I've done software all my life. And I've been into entrepreneurship stuff like forever. Done a lot of different things, seen a lot of people do different things. And I actually uniquely own some internet business things I'm trying to build or rebuild. And I was looking for ways to promote them. And one of the things I was doing was trying to build a blog, like a home-based business blog or something like that. And then Christian told me about this whole opportunity, and I was just like, wow. Once I saw how it worked, I got it. You know, I had to do some research. I had to watch a lot of Rob's videos, but it really makes sense. It's simple. It's not anything difficult, and everyday people can do it. So it's really neat to see that people help others. So, you know, I'm kind of fascinated. I'm new. I'm fresh.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you know, I guess we all have a common denominator in Rob, don't we? Yeah. He sort of, you know, kicked us out there and said, hey, you know, go for it. Go for it. And for me, I had to remove some of the negative, you know, that I had about online marketing because I'd been, you know, in it for so long and never had seen, you know, any positive results come out of it. So, you know, with Rob, you know, and his personality is like, hey man, screw it, just do it. Do it. And that's what it's all about, is just getting out there and doing it. You know, I'm in Pure Profit Pro, MLM Leads, AWeber. My marketing system is EGN Marketing. I'm looking at some other stuff right now to bring in, because it's all about multiple income streams, isn't it, guys? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, not having your eggs in one basket. And you know, Renee is redoing her funnel, and I bet if I were to venture a guess, Renee, I would say that you're redoing your funnel now because of the knowledge that you've gained, you know, since you did your funnel the last time.
Yep.
So you want to bring that knowledge into your funnel.
Absolutely. And like you said about the emails, I'm redoing all of my emails. I'm redoing my presentations because I do want to bring that knowledge into those presentations. And it's all based on conversations I've had with people coming through my funnel. So, I mean, those are great teaching moments for me because it lets me know, okay, this is what people need to know in the presentation. And that's what it's all about. The more you have people coming through asking you those questions, that knowledge helps you to develop those funnels.
Yeah, and that's what I discovered too. And you know, when I think about when I first met Bamboo, you know, and where she's come over the first quarter of this year, you know, here was someone that was afraid to get in front of the camera, and now you can't get her from in front of the camera.
Yep.
Yeah. Share that, Bamboo. What happened that now, you know, every day you have a video coming out? What inspired you to do that?
Okay. I don't know. I think I just really desperately wanted to change my life. Desperately. And I think sometimes you have to really hit rock bottom. Like you literally, like, not once, not twice, but 10 times. And you just go, why am I here again? And the thing is, I followed Rob and Renee for 2 years. And I was like one of those people that was just watching what they were doing. And, you know, I've got 2 Facebook accounts and I was like involved in my personal sort of life things. And then I made an account for my online marketing stuff. And I watched like Renee and Rob. Rob was very, you know, he was the main person that I was like kind of following. And I got into an opportunity last year and it really scarred me. Well, now I see it as a blessing because, you know, it was not good, but it scarred me because I thought it was going to change my life and it ended really badly. And I actually thought I don't want to be morbid, but in December 2016, I didn't want to be here anymore because I thought I'd been through so many things in my life. And I just thought, why does this keep happening over and over and over again? And I did the video challenge because I followed Renee I followed Rob, and Rob said to me on Skype, you know, you got to do the videos. And I was petrified, guys, seriously petrified, like so scared. But now what I found is it's like what they say, the more you do something, the better you get at it. So, you know, the more you do it, you just keep doing it every day. And it's honestly taken me, I'll be honest with you, it's taken me just 70 days to get to the point where now I don't have to go, oh my God, what can I talk about today? And I'll just go, okay, this happened today, and I'll just talk about it. And because what you got to remember is, guys out there who are watching this, people want to know you. They want to know your life. They want to know your story. They want to know who you are. And it's not all about just saying, hey, here's my link, and, you know, just follow me or join. People want to know who you are. People want to know what your life is all about. And honestly, like, you know, all of you guys, S5, know that I'm a massive fan of Gary Vee.
Yes.
And the thing is, you know, he says, produce, and then you'll see the magic happen. You got to put it out there. You got to put out the content. You got to teach people about your life. You got to show people, because, you know, a lot of people, we have crap lives, you know, like we generally, like, your life is not really amazing unless you change your mindset.
That's right.
That's what it comes down to. Like, you know, your life might be crappy, but it's all about the mindset thing. And that's all really. And all I want to say is this video challenge has, guys, seriously, if you I'll give you the numbers of my friends, and I'll say, contact them and say, hey, who's Dal? And they'll be like, I don't know her anymore, because I've never had a passion. You know, I've never had kids. I've never had a marriage. I'm one of those people floating around, you know. What am I supposed to do?
Well, you're not floating anymore, Bamboo. That's for sure.
Exactly.
That's for sure. Jamie, rather, are you doing a video challenge right now, Jamie?
Nah, I'm working on some videos, but my approach is a little different. I don't know.
Okay.
I have like a different perspective on some things, so I'm kind of going a different route. I don't. Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, see, that's one of the things that S5 is about. Sometimes we can't see things clearly when we just look at them individually. That looks like Helen Gibb there. Is that Helen?
Yeah, that's Helen.
Okay, how are you, Helen?
Hello.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
What the heck am I
doing? You're stepping into another world right now, Helen.
Oh, good.
Yep, into another world. Now, you caught us on the backside of the webinar, because we started at 6 o'clock Eastern time. It's now 7. So, you know, we're getting ready to conclude. But hey, these are we're going to be doing them every week. So we'll be sending out invitations during the week.
Hey, Jay.
About our next webinar. Yeah.
Maybe you could wrap up by giving a quick synopsis on the blog, and then mention that we have a Facebook group for people to come into.
Absolutely.
Sure that they know about the invite.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so our blog is going to be our repository for a lot of the things that we're doing out there, videos, articles, things along that line, so that something is available every week for people. They don't have to wait until the next webinar, you know, kicks off. So that is the purpose of the blog. It's going to be sort of like our library. So it's a work in progress right now. We just started designing it back during this last week. So it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. So keep your eye on it. You see the address in the address bar up there, harmony311s5.com. So that is the link to it. We also have a Facebook page. And can you bring that up, Christian? There's our Facebook page. So You can come into that and become a part of the Facebook page that's brand new. And so that is another venue that we'll be using to present information, also posting videos, things along that line. So if you are into making videos and you want to post your video on our Facebook group, you're welcome to do so. And we will, again, we'll be back again next week. Did you have something, Helen?
No, I don't do videos.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what? A lot of us didn't do videos at one point, and now we're just crazy about doing videos now. So stick with us. You might change your viewpoint on that.
And also, you know, you need to put content out. So one of the things we talk about is, you know, having a blog or, of course, email campaigns. There's lots of things you can do to get started.
Yes.
And one thing I found, too, that helps folks about videos is that you come on board with us and we give you a little 30-second presentation where you share your time with us, and then you use that video to promote yourself as well. Okay, so it's a good way of getting started. But, you know, don't do anything uncomfortable with yet. But I guess my word for you, for anyone listening, would be, you know, get a little uncomfortable and step out.
Step out a little bit, yeah.
Step out a little. And we can help you with that if you want it.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things, Helen, that we've all gone through with regard to videos is finding something to talk about in the video. We've all gone through that. And for all of us now, it's not an issue anymore. You know, you think of something, it's like, hey, that would make a great video when you get out there and you do it. So, and it does, like Christian said, it puts your face out there. It puts you out there on the internet, and people begin to know who you are. And that is probably the most important thing, is people discovering who you are, you know, and they do that through your content and your videos. Okay, so guys, thanks a lot. This was our debut webinar. You know, all five of us, we talk all week long, every day. We have a communication going on, and then we meet on Saturdays in these webinars. So we'll be putting out our next webinar, date and time, during the week. And again, thank you guys. This is great, a great jumping off for us. And S5, we are on the way. On the way. Okay, Christian, you can stop the recording now.
All right.